Child care provider, tax ID number or social security number if it's an individual. If you have a child that's in daycare, either they're young, preschool or after school up until they're age 13, there's a deduction or credit for child care. And a lot of times that amount, or that statement that's given by your child care provider doesn't have their tax ID number or the social security number. So again, we have to call the client or try to call the provider themselves to get that number. And every time that we have to contact our client or call someone else, it's more time for us and makes tax return more expensive. So the fewer times we have to touch it, the fewer times we have to communicate, makes the whole process go smoother and keeps your costs down. The next one, the college tuition statement. I don't know how long it's been around now, but the college tuition credits, the Hope credit, the lifetime learning credit, now the American Opportunity tax credit, it's been around for a couple of years, allows a credit for college tuition. The colleges are supposed to send out to you the statement, similar to 1098-T, similar to 1099s, W-2s. However, the new American Opportunity credit allows you to deduct more than just tuition. It has fees, related supplies and materials, which could include a computer, some other things, that the school's not going to have that information.
What's that contract?
What's that? American Opportunity Tax Credit. There's some information later in the handout on that specifically. So, in addition to, and that's for all undergraduate level, that American Opportunity. So, in addition to that tuition statement, any other education books count for that credit, not for the other ones, but just for that one that's been around for the last couple of years. So, gather that information. And please ask questions.
Preschool playing, could grandparents take that if they were paying it?
It's only if you claim the person as a dependent, the child as a dependent. Same thing with the tuition. The college tuition is only for whoever claims that the student as a dependent. So if your child files their own return, and they have to claim it on their return, even if you paid for it.
But if you had a child that was going to school as a baby that you're paying their child care for, would you just say you pay for someone with your child's school?
Well, in the end,
Swap it.
Yeah, in that situation, if you're paying it but they claim as a dependent, you can kind of work out an arrangement.
Well, with your child in school, you have to claim his as a dependent?
I'm not sure I follow.
Well, instead of claiming the grandchild, just claim the child who's in school. If he's not, he's not on the list. They have to claim him as a dependent to get either one of them.
Right. Yeah, they have to be independent either way, for the college tuition or the child care. They have to be independent. Another thing is car tags. Oops, the wrong way. Car tags, it's an itemized deduction. It's often forgotten when the people send us their information. So try not to forget that. The last couple of things here, sometimes we get too much data. Boxes of receipts, the proverbial shoebox. Sometimes it comes in a banana box, or some kind of crate. And if you want us to go through it, we will. But expect a very large tax bill if you need us to add up your receipts. So, what you need to do is add them up yourself. Give us a summary sheet. I don't even want to see the receipts. You just need to keep them. Now, the receipts these days, they always fade, don't they? Mm-hmm. Walmart receipts, they don't seem like they last long. So, I recommend, there's some software out there, I don't think they use it, where you can scan your receipts, right? And it'll add it up for you. You put in categories, and it'll add it up for you. So that's, if you itemize and you have a lot of receipts that you add up for your return, I would recommend using something like that. One of those softwares out there that you can scan it, so you got a good backup copy, because those receipts are going to fade. Because if the IRS can audit you, we'll talk about it in a minute, anywhere from 3 to 6 years, and those receipts are going to be faded by
Will
then.
they accept a digital copy?
Yes.
They will.
Yeah, they will accept digital copies. So, but for our purposes, and some things like medical and even charitable contributions, if you do a lot of little things. Now, if your main thing is you contribute to your church and they give you your statement and shows your 2,000 or 10,000, whatever it is, we want that. But if you have a bunch of little ones to Cancer Society and Boy Scouts and whatever, $10, $25 here and there, I don't want all these little stubs that they give you or these half receipts. I'll add them up on a sheet or list them on a sheet of paper or add them up and give us a number there. So we don't have to list all that detail. And so if you just throw it in an envelope and there's a bunch of them, we have to add it up and then it takes more time. A lot of our clients, they'll put them in an envelope and put on the outside, charity, $250, miscellaneous, something like that. So if we want to look at it, we can, but it's all compact there in an envelope. Any questions so far?
Does the college usually send you a statement at the end of the year?
Yes, they're required to, or they're supposed to. Yeah, sure. So too much data, and in some cases, we have too little data. So there's a lot of things missing. Again, the more we have to touch it, the less efficient, and the more expensive. Now, I know Mr. Perry here, one of our clients, there's always one piece of information you're always missing, right? The K1 from one of his trusts. But if that's the only thing missing, great. Let us do the return, we'll have it ready, and that's the only thing we have to drop in. But if there's a bunch of things missing, and you say, well, here's what I have so far, I'll bring in the rest as they bring it in and kind of piecemeal it, that does not make you happy. It won't make you happy when the bill goes up from 300 to 500 or whatever. So in a case like Mr. Perry's, where it's one thing that's always late, if everything else is there, I'd rather do that return in January and February and have it ready at that point, and wait for that to come in March, whenever it usually comes. Then wait until you have that and bring it on at that point, because then we're busier. But if it's still a lot of things missing, don't bring it until you have everything, and especially if it's one thing you know it's going to be a while, go ahead and bring it in. I found some, actually my daughter found some cartoons here. There's a nice box of receipts there. That'd be fun. Bring that to me. I'd enjoy that. Notice I say I'm not keep your CPA happy. Here's another one she found. We decided to itemize, so here's all my receipts and documents. This is kind of funny. I have my youngest daughter's name, Eliza. It says, I don't read it to you. Where's Eliza? The two friends talking, meeting with her accountant. Oh yes, this is her first time filing a full year as a freelancer, isn't it? Yep, it should be interesting. And it's her at her accountant's office. What do you mean I can't claim chocolate as a business expense? You know, the definition of what's a valid expense is that it's ordinary and necessary. I think you can argue it's necessary, but anyway, those are a couple of things that she found. All right.